This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Continuing coverage of Campaign 2000, the battle for the White House. From CBS News election headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good evening. Hard to tell whether it's advantage Bush or Gore tonight. Each side thinks it's winning in the post-election battle for the White House 1 week after Election Day. Here's the latest. A state court upholds today's 5 p.m. deadline for all 67 Florida counties to report their vote results and recounts. But the ruling by a Democratic-appointed judge says Florida's Republican Secretary of State cannot reject later results without a good reason. Volusia County, one of 4 in which Vice President Gore wanted hand recounts, says its manual recount results are a little late and should be included. Palm Beach County announces a hand recount for tomorrow. Broward and Miami-Dade also plan recounts. And now there is this. The Bush campaign has given notice tonight that it's coming forward with a federal appeals court case to stop all manual recounts. That's on appeal. The final certified Florida vote that could decide the presidential election is to be announced Saturday after absentee ballots from overseas are in and counted. That's the plan of the Secretary of State. The Florida vote count at this hour shows Bush leading Gore by under 300 votes now out of 6 million cast. Once again, a team of CBS News correspondents is deployed to cut through all the smoke and spin and give you the latest facts from Florida and beyond. We begin with Byron Pitts in Tallahassee on the vote reporting deadline. Byron?
Well, Dan, the deadline has passed, but the legal maneuvering isn't over, nor is the confusion.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're sorry to keep you all waiting.
It was the one ruling the world had waited for, clarity from the courts. A piece of paper to spell out if today's 5 p.m. deadline for ballots would stand or be extended.
The motion for temporary injunction is denied.
But instead, Circuit Court Judge Terry Lewis provided a third alternative. Yes, all the county canvassing boards must certify and file by today's deadline, but they can submit supplemental returns later. In other words, counties like Volusia and Palm Beach, with thousands upon thousands of ballots, can continue recounting by hand, and it will be up to the Secretary of State to accept or reject them later this week.
If they don't come in at 5 o'clock today, I assume the counties will come forward with a reason why they did not, and she will evaluate those reasons based on what the counties tell her.
It was, in a way, a compromise ruling that gave both candidates some of what they wanted.
Under this decision, we now have a vehicle for the full, fair, and accurate tabulation of the votes of the citizens of Florida.
And the Bush campaign now has legal ammunition to push for a speedy end.
This could very well back us up, right smack up, if not beyond, the December 18 date of the meeting of the Electoral College. And clearly that's not acceptable, not just to us, but to the American people, I would venture.
So tonight, here's where it stands. In Palm Beach County, a hand recount of more than 400,000 ballots will begin in the morning. Volusia County finished its hand recount this evening, with Gore gaining an additional 98 votes. Broward County will postpone a possible hand recount until later this week. Dade County is in the process of a partial manual recount. Now the pressure's really on election officials in Dade and Palm Beach County. If they want all of their ballots certified, they must complete the hand count, and soon. Dan?
Byron Pitts in Tallahassee. The Gore campaign is accentuating the positive. The Gore view is that today's court ruling means post-deadline hand recounts should be included in deciding who wins in Florida and therefore who will be the next president. CBS's John Roberts at the White House is covering the Gore campaign. John?
Dan, even as they joined an appeal of today's court decision, Gore's top strategists were making every attempt to put the best face they could on the ruling. Their spin, that they now have the legal and moral authority to pursue the process of the hand count.
The court's opinion on this point is tantamount to the injunction that we sought.
An already rancorous public relations battle is about to turn white hot. The Gore campaign will attempt to put so much public pressure on Florida Secretary of State Katherine Harris that she cannot exclude vote recounts submitted after tonight's deadline.
And we certainly hope that she'll conclude that the lawful votes of the citizens of Florida should be included in any final tabulation.
As a warning of what's ahead if Harris dismisses the hand count, the Gore campaign today rolled out master litigator David Boyce, the man who fought Microsoft and won.
This is an injunction issued by a Florida circuit court telling her that she can't just stand firm and say, I'm not going to think about this after 5 p.m. She violates that. She violates a court order.
Campaign chairman Bill Daley rushed to Capitol Hill today to rally congressional Democrats. He urged patience and asked them to speak with one voice in support of the vice president.
That's the most important thing, is to allow that hand count to be continued. And that's the essence of what we're trying to do right now.
The Gore campaign is preparing for a fight. At the same time, they are also pondering an exit strategy. One senior campaign official told me they would like to have a clear end in sight by Friday. If they end up in court litigating the results of the hand count, this could go on for a very long time. Dan?
John Roberts at the White House. The Bush campaign line continues to be that Bush has won Florida, has won the election, and in effect that Gore should give in. And it is now contended by the Bush forces that the deadlock is definitely contributing to economic uncertainty on world markets. CBS's Bill Whitaker is covering the Bush campaign in Austin, Texas. Bill?
Dan, CBS News has learned that the Bush campaign now believes that this election battle will end up in the U.S. Supreme Court. Sources close to the Bush campaign say the Texas governor and his staff are convinced that it is the strategy of Vice President Al Gore to press his case in court every step of the way. The sources tell CBS News that the campaign was slow to the draw, slow to realize what the Gore camp was up to. Now, they're preparing to defend themselves against every possible legal punch and counterpunch, ready to defend what they believe is their victory in Florida. Now, the main goal of the Bush campaign now is to stop that hand counting of votes in Florida. They believe that it is too easily manipulated and too prone to human error. And the Bush attorneys have notified the federal appeals court in Atlanta that they are likely to file an appeal to stop all hand counting. Dan?
So, Bill, where does this all lead?
Well, Dan, where this leads, if this drags out, this may not be settled by the time the Electoral College electors meet on December 18th. If that is the case, the Florida electors would not be certified and would not vote. And in that case, the candidate with the most votes, excluding Florida, would likely be elected President of the United States. And that candidate right now is Al Gore. Dan?
Bill Whitaker in Austin. CBS News has learned that the Bush team at the very highest level has been told by staff that there is now, quote, a definite possibility, unquote, that this election may go to the Supreme Court. Governor Bush reportedly has been told to expect a, quote, flood of lawsuits, whatever the Florida Secretary of State decides about counting late votes. Now, it's emphasized everywhere in the Bush camp. They believe they have won. They keep telling the governor that if he holds tight to the president's strategy, as things go along, he will be declared the winner and the next president. Also tonight, CBS News has learned that Vice President Gore has been talking it up among his staff. Gore is quoted as saying he's absolutely convinced now that he got the most votes in Florida and that he will win that state and thus the presidency. The view from the Gore camp is that Bush is trying to, quote, run out the clock. Gore forces believe Bush now leads by only 288 votes in Florida, in votes actually counted, and that there are, quote, thousands of Gore votes to be gained in the recount, unquote. The Gore camp expects the vice president, they say, to win a majority of the absentee ballots still out from overseas. Palm Beach County, Florida continues to be at the center of the post-election confusion and the battle over late hand recounts in the state. CBS's Jim Axelrod is in West Palm with the latest.
The day started simply enough in Palm Beach County, vote counters arriving before dawn. Then came word from the Secretary of State, no hand count.
The motion pending is that we suspend the manual recount.
The canvassing board voted to follow the Secretary of State's lead and halt the count. Not that it settled anything.
And the opinion from the Attorney General just came in.
The Attorney General has since sent us an opinion indicating to the contrary, and I believe our attorneys will be headed over to Circuit Court.
The hand counters headed home.
Do you think you're going to come back and count votes?
I really don't know.
The lawyers headed to court.
We basically get a judge to tell us, canvassing board, this is how you proceed.
And the canvassing board headed, well, they didn't quite know where to head.
Let's keep going, guys. I'm sorry.
Give us some room, please.
I don't know where I'm going.
In Palm Beach County, the political circus has too many rings and not enough ringmasters. Anyone expecting court to clear things up was dreaming. It took 6 judges just to find one to hear the case.
And I don't know if you're prepared for this, but now you know how I feel.
The judge ruled the county could begin the hand count. They'll start first thing in the morning. The day is ending, just like it began.
Not only the voters, confused, but so are the people who have to count the votes of the confused voters.
This is the confusion capital of the United States.
I think so, at least for a while.
The county has now sent its final completed count to the state, at least the one that was completed last Sunday. They'll attempt to update it with whatever results they can get from the new hand count before Friday's absentee ballot deadline. Still, the Secretary of State may not accept the update. A higher court may stop it. This may well remain the capital of confusion a while longer yet. Dan?
Jim Axelrod in West Palm Beach. Ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, 2 more factors in this battle for the White House, the other close call states, and the American ways of voting as varied as they are obsolete.
Our business has always been about the direct relationship with the customer. That's what it's always about. What do you want to use a computer for?
I guess the biggest priority is getting online.
I want to make home movies and edit them on the computer.
I'd like to know what I should buy for a teacher.
Give us a call and tell us what you want to do. We'll set you up with a Gateway Essential PC, Intel Celeron processor, and a Year of America Online, all for under $23 a month. Because in Gateway Country, people rule.
That's what it's all about.
What will I be like a year from now? How much will I grow? How strong will I be? In 5 years? In 10 years? Where does my future start? You'd be surprised.
There's a new prescription treatment called Remicade that could change your life by giving you lasting relief from the pain and stiffness of rheumatoid arthritis. Your doctor may add Remicade if you are on methotrexate already and not responding well. You take 1 dose of Remicade every 8 weeks after the first 3 doses. Of course, Remicade is not for everyone. Serious infections requiring hospitalization have been reported. If you are prone to or have a history of infections, currently have one, or develop one while taking Remicade, tell your doctor right away. There's a risk of serious infusion reactions with hives, difficulty breathing, and low blood pressure. Ask your rheumatologist about Remicade, or call today.
The latest styles don't have to cost a fortune.
Right now at LensCrafters, you can find great-looking glasses for only $99.
Hundreds of the latest styles, frames, and lenses, all for only $99. Hurry, sale ends November 25th.
Oh.
What's the matter, honey? Oh, heartburn. I know just what you need.
New Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief. Faster than Pepcid or the leading prescription. New Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief.
While Florida is getting most of the attention, it is not the only state split almost evenly between George Bush and Al Gore. Tonight, New Mexico is back on the too close to call list, advantage slightly Gore. 3 other states are narrowly in the Gore column: Oregon, Iowa, and, as CBS's Jeffrey Kaufman reports, Wisconsin.
That chill isn't just from the Wisconsin winds. The Badger State is bracing for the spread of recount fever. With the official tally still trickling in, the unofficial count has this state going for Gore by 6,000 votes.
When it's this close, less than 0.5%, people want to be assured that the votes were properly counted.
Who wins Florida wins the presidency.
No one is watching more closely than state Republicans.
We've been working very, very hard over the last 4 or 5 days to put together an organization that can execute a recount, and whatever marching orders we get from Austin, we're ready to execute.
Republicans contend that the vote in the Milwaukee area was tainted by Democratic bribes of cigarettes to homeless voters and a college prank that saw some students vote more than once, including one registered as Mickey Mouse.
It's highly unlikely that there's anything remotely approaching 6,000 votes in question, and so a recount would probably be more symbolic than real.
The posturing is all part of a partisan chess game that has seized the nation.
It's really a warning about the possibility of spreading the recount fever, spreading the core challenges, and delivering a shot across the Gore campaign's bow that something has got to stop soon, or the situation will get much worse very fast.
If Florida goes Gore, recount fever could spread beyond Wisconsin to Iowa, Oregon, and New Mexico, where the vice president holds narrow leads. With 30 electoral votes at stake, Bush would need the biggest 3 to win the Electoral College and the presidency. And that would be a very long shot, which means despite the saber rattling up here, the outcome of this election really is in the hands of the people down south, in the Sunshine State. Jeffrey Kaufman, CBS News, Madison, Wisconsin.
Among the lessons of the presidential election deadlock is the value of every vote. Among the revelations are the antiquated methods many localities use to try to count every vote, including the ballot slicing and dicing so-called vote-o-matic. CBS's Richard Schlesinger investigated the state-of-the-art in vote counting for tonight's Eye on America.
In the age of the microchip, the leadership of the free world is being decided by boxes of ballots with hanging chads and half-punch paper, leaving it to bewildered election officials to decide who meant to vote for whom.
I voted 31 years ago for the first time, and I'm voting exactly the same way today, despite the changes of computers and technology and electronics.
New York Senator Charles Schumer is calling for a federal study of the hodgepodge of state and county election procedures used in the U.S.
The fact that we've had such a close election has put a spotlight on the system, which I think will jolt it into the future.
Internet voting is ready today if someone wants to take advantage of it.
William Taylor runs an internet-based voting system that was used in the Arizona Democratic primary. His system allows voters to point and click their way through a ballot and confirm their choices before sending in their votes.
You click on OK, and you've voted.
That's it.
It's that simple.
But we're a long way away from that. 40% of American voters still shade in a circle next to their candidate's name. 12% check boxes on ballots. 15% pull levers on obsolete voting machines that aren't even made anymore. And almost 20% of Americans use a punch card system like the one in Palm Beach, called a vote-o-matic. The vote-o-matic was new technology about 30 years ago.
Obviously not a state-of-the-art system, but it is widely used and has been for decades.
Hawkins, who runs elections in Sacramento, says even though the vote-o-matic is old, there is a way to make its vote count more accurate. It's simple. Look for those hanging chads before counting the ballots.
We had about 400,000 voters cast ballots on Election Day here, and every ballot was physically, manually inspected before it was put into the card reader.
Well, there's no law that says ballots have to be inspected before they're counted. Ernest Hawkins does it to avoid problems in a recount, to get rid of those hanging chads before the machine detects them and invalidates the ballot. Many other election officials order the same kind of procedure across the country. But late this afternoon, CBS News learned it was not done in Palm Beach County, which may be one reason those election officials have to look at all those ballots now. Dan?
Richard Schlesinger. On the CBS Market Watch, Wall Street snapped out of its post-election slump today. Bargain hunting helped drive the Dow and the NASDAQ to triple-digit gains. Ahead now on the CBS Evening News, more headlines of this amazing day, and out of control on the ski slopes, the thrill that can kill.
Enterprise? You rented our car from Enterprise?
Yeah.
Why Enterprise?
Because they pick us up. Free.
A free pickup? Wow. They ought to be number one.
They are number one.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
You know, when a toilet bowl overflows over the floor, it's not a nice thing. I've been in the septic business 32 years. You could have a lot of trouble with your septic if you don't maintain it. When it backs up, it will either come out on the lawn or it could back up into your basement. The odor would permeate right through the whole neighborhood. We went to clean this woman's septic tank, and every time I stuck the shovel in the ground, she went, "Oh, my grass, my heart." It's cheaper to maintain your septic system.
The bacteria and enzymes in Rid-X help prevent septic backups. Use Rid-X once a month.
For prescription strength pain relief without a prescription, take Extra Strength Bayer. It's as powerful on tough pain as prescription Tylenol with codeine. Bayer,
Take it for pain. Take it for life.
Every time I tried to quit smoking, I chewed up more pencils. So my doctor gave me a prescription that, for the first time, makes me feel in control of my cravings. Ask your doctor.
Break the habit. The prescription for help is at hand.
Isn't stuffing great with Butterball turkey?
Wish we could have it more often.
Now you can. Introducing the holiday stuffing for all 365 days. New genuine Butterball stuffing. Make it any way you like. In a bird, the oven, on the stove, or in the microwave. Add Butterball broth and it's even tastier. Discover savory, slow-cooked holiday flavor tonight.
Like a holiday. Without all the relatives.
And without all the work.
For stuffing, broth, and gravy that make any meal holiday special, the best of all is Butterball.
Mommy, can you refill that Glade plug-in, please?
For lasting freshness, don't forget to refill your Glade plug-ins.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Hey, what are you putting in over there?
DirecTV system.
Satellite, huh? I already got like 70 cable channels.
Well, this thing can get over 225 if you want them, all 100% digital quality.
It's on. It's on. Unbelievable. I have a riding mower.
That's great, sir.
Now get free professional installation when you buy a DirecTV system and sign up for Total Choice programming.
Florida's absentee voters. If you think many are just temporarily away from home, think again. Eye on America investigates tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
In the next few weeks, the annual migration to the mountains of the West begins as ski resorts open for business. But in the Colorado Rockies this week, a young skier is on trial. And as CBS's Bob McNamara reports, his case and others show just how dangerous the slopes can be.
This is the image that sells Colorado skiing. Not this. A boy in a coma after a collision with a reckless skier. An 11-year-old girl killed by a skier out of control. And 33-year-old Alan Cobb. His death 3 years ago is the reason Nathan Hall is now on trial for reckless manslaughter after slamming into Cobb and killing him.
The importance of the Hall case is that it's the first case in which there is criminal sanctions being imposed upon the reckless skier.
Yeah, there's definitely some reckless skiers out there.
That's right. For many skiers and snowboarders, a day on the mountain is a series of close calls. The question a jury must answer is, what is reckless and what is misfortune?
Was this person so reckless it can't be explained away as incompetence or negligence or just bad luck?
Hoping for the best. If convicted, Nathan Hall could get 6 years in prison and a $500,000 fine. But in many ways, this is a case as much about justice as it is about image and economics.
We're sick of people getting killed on the slopes by these nuts who ski too fast.
Colorado skiing is a $4 billion a year industry that 100,000 jobs rely on. And with ski runs more congested, collisions not uncommon, response to recklessness has seen slow zones being marked off.
So watch your speed through here.
At resorts where safety patrols police the slopes, repeated recklessness can get lift tickets revoked. That severely injured boy in a coma survived.
I was in a coma for 5 days after the accident.
Stephen Wilbur recovered from head and leg injuries. A helmet saved his life. Skiing has always carried an assumed risk of injury. But a Colorado court must decide whether risking your life is part of the bargain too. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Eagle County, Colorado.
One of the pioneers of broadcast journalism died today. The great Robert Trout was 91.
This is Bob Trout, opening Columbia's shortwave transatlantic program.
Trout joined CBS Radio in 1932. It was he who coined the phrase fireside chat as he introduced FDR's broadcasts to the nation. And Trout brought the country news of World War II on the groundbreaking CBS World News Roundup.
Tonight the world trembles, torn by conflicting forces.
For 7 decades, Trout was known as a consummate journalist and gentleman.
Bob Trout speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Italians gave the elegant style. The Germans gave the solid engineering. The combination that deserves all the attention. The affordable luxury, the new Laganza from Daewoo.
A 4-minute mile. A pole vault of 20 feet. A perfect 10. The experts said these could never happen. What do they know?
Everyone's looking for oddball spots. And you can find them. Get this special Alpo water bowl where spots appear. Starring Oddball from Disney's 102 Dalmatians. Just look for Alpo's proven formula with chicory for a long and healthy life. And look for Waddlesworth, Drooler, Chomp, and friends at theaters everywhere. A great dog deserves a long life. A great dog deserves Alpo from Friskies.
Attention content enthusiasts, come to Contentville. We have content, nothing but content, whatever your passion.
I really like Russian literature. Sometimes I like to bake.
Whatever your interest.
Well, I like to read. Research? I like research.
We sell content you can download, content that comes to your door.
This is different.
Content in all its glorious forms.
Content? As in something inside of a content?
No! We sell speeches, screenplays, e-books.
E-books are great.
We ship magazines within 24 hours. We have expert advice from America's leading independent bookstores, experts with independent opinions. We sell legal documents, archives, millions of books, all at great prices.
Oh, really?
Join the multitudes. Come to Contentville, where content is king and readers rejoice.
What can you do with discarded motor oil? One Car Dealership is good and warm because of all that old oil. We'll tell you all about it tonight at 6.
Looking ahead now in the battle for the American presidency, today's official deadline for all Florida counties to report vote results stands, but a state court also said Florida's Secretary of State must consider including post-deadline recounts. The Bush campaign has moved to a federal appeals court trying to stop all manual recounts. In the 4 counties where the Gore campaign wants manual recounts, Volusia's is done, Palm Beach's starts tomorrow, Broward and Miami-Dade yet to come. The battle goes on, and there may be something from the Florida Secretary of State later tonight. Part of our world this night. I'll be back later here on CBS with 60 Minutes, too. Florida election workers tell us what they didn't know about their state's ballot and why that may have made all the difference. And what's it like to go through an execution? We found out, and so will you. Are you afraid to die? 60 Minutes, 2. Tonight at 9, 8 Central Time. Till then, if news breaks out, we'll break in. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you again soon on 60 Minutes, 2.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
Florida's permanent absentee voters. Eye on America tomorrow. Experience CBS News.
Satellite pictures show clear skies over the Mid-South. Going to be a very chilly night tonight. We'll take a look coming up at how long this cold snap will last.
Plus, it may look like plain old motor oil to you and me, but one company has found it can do a lot more than just help your car run.
Count our votes! Count our votes!
And a day of legal maneuverings and deadlines. Tonight, Florida counties are supposed to be certified, and George W. Bush is holding on to a lead. The news is right here, right now.
From the News Channel 5 Network, this is News Channel 5 at 6, your news and information leader.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Yates.
And I'm Chris Clark. 1 week ago, the nation went to the polls to elect the 43rd president of the United States. But because that election was too close to call in Florida, history has been put on hold. Now, here is what happened today. A lot did. This morning, former Secretary of State and Bush supporter James Baker offers the Gore camp a